has been a great journey for us. I have 9 other authors along with myself who wrote our stories. And so what we did is it's just a collection of stories of how we went through the reset journey. From how do we got out of the cycle of just survival? How do we break forth and transition from being in one place for so long, or maybe a little while, and transitioning to thriving? And so thriving means that we grow and we develop well. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So how long did this start, or when did you start this journey on this anthology
So we started what, May 1st. So what happened is
of this
I
year?
had, yes.
Wow, congratulations on that.
Thank you. So I actually started before that, I guess you can say, because
Mhm.
yeah. So, I started gathering them, and it was so, I know it's like we call each other, the reset family or the reset team, because it didn't take very long for me to gather the 9
Mhm.
authors. It took like 3 weeks. What I did is I just kind of, at first, I just kind of put it out there on social media, and then I retracted myself, and I just began to specifically ask people. There were other people that I
Mm.
asked. These were the people that God put together for this anthology. And when I tell you, it has gone very smoothly. We met May 1st. I think our first draft was due like May 15th. And so everybody was just writing, and
Yeah.
we were just enjoying and meeting every other week. And just we got people from sorry, not California. We got people from Houston, Texas, Dallas, Tallahassee, Florida, Georgia, Lafayette, which is my hometown. I'm in North Louisiana right now, and Lafayette is in South Louisiana, North Carolina. So we have just a bunch of different people from different places, but we all have that same journey
Mhm.
of the reset. But not
I
only the
love
reset,
that.
but the thriving, that we're now on the other
Mhm.
side of that transition. So uh, we started in May, and I said, "Hey, y'all, we're going to put out a book in September." And so today, I was the last person to get my books, which is fine because everybody else got their book first, which was great.
Mhm.
Actually, my second book, I wrote a book last year called Reset, Reevaluate Everything so Everything Thrives. And so we've had
Yeah.
a wonderful journey. I have a TV show, so everybody's been on my TV
I've been
show.
noticing. Yes.
Yeah, so we've been doing that. And we have our book celebration coming up in less than 2 weeks. So we've just been having really good fun, really fun, and getting to know each other. And I don't know, everybody's kind of been going through their own extra reset while they're in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. I love
Everybody's kind
that.
of telling me, "Oh my God, this is happening." I was like, "It's okay. It's just another reset. It's fine."
Yeah.
So it's
I
just,
want to touch on something you said. I don't mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Something
I'm done.
that you said.
Mhm.
You said you made a post about it, and then I guess it wasn't getting the feedback, and then you intentionally handpicked certain people that you reached out to. I really want to dive into that because moving with intent is so important, and I think that I would love for people just to hear the thought process behind it, or how that did or didn't work for you.
So what happened was, when I put it out there, people were responding to me, right? But I just felt like, this is not how I was supposed to do it. And
Mhm.
when you were saying intentional, those who know me, and those who really know me, that is my word. Whenever
Yeah.
you have to reset, you have to be intentional. And so I was smiling when you said that, because everything that we do, we have to do with the right intent, but we have to be intentional, not just whatever, but be very specific and be very personal. And everything we do has to have a purpose. It's something behind it. It's not just doing stuff just because you never, if you do that, you're going to continuously be in that survival mode.
Yeah,
But when you become
absolutely.
very intentional and saying, "Hey, this is what I need to do, one, two, three," be very intentional. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it this way. Then you're
Mhm.
intentional. And then that's how I got my reset family. Because when I say we are so divinely connected, it has been such a smooth ride. We had little bumps every now and then, but not, I mean, for the most part, I would say that it has been very awesome.
I love that. I love that. I love the dynamic. I love the energy when you guys first came on and everybody was, oh my gosh, it feels like a family reunion and everybody was so excited. And I think that that has to work. That chemistry, that dynamic just has to fit for any collaboration to work. And so plug in. You said you guys have an event coming up here soon. What date and the time and location is that going to be?
Okay. So our October the 8th
Hmm.
is our book launch celebration. And so we're having it's going to be in Carencro, what we call Carencro, Louisiana, but it's right outside of Lafayette.
Hmm.
So it's going to be from 3 to 5:30 p.m. And we just got some special guests. We got DJ, we got a comedy, we got it's going to be nice and pretty. And we're just going to celebrate, our book release.
I love that. Congratulations to you all. I actually want to pick on Michael here for a minute, if that's okay. With the only male entrepreneur here, I love this collaboration. I love this dynamic because I always say, even as a female, men inspire and empower women just as much as other women inspire us and other women. So I just want to kick it off to you, Michael. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you come to know Jakithia and how did you get on this project with everyone?
Um, First, thank you for having me and the
You're welcome.
reset team. Everybody, it's good to see y'all. I know we haven't seen each other in a little bit, so good to see y'all. Congratulations, authors.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jakithia and I have known each other just about all of our lives. Um, we're actually related, right? We're actually related. So we've known each other for a very, very long time. She actually posted a picture of us just recently from fifth grade, right? So it was like our fifth grade. Was that fifth grade graduation?
It was.
Yeah. So she reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested, and I jumped at the chance. It's been an incredible honor to be a part of this process, to have the opportunity to tell my story. Um, so Jakithia, I tell her all the time, just thank you for being obedient. I call her the reset catalyst. So that the opportunity has been great. And even though I am the only male on the reset team, I'm not in unfamiliar territory because I do coach young women. I've been coaching young women in athletics for almost 20 years now. So, not unfamiliar territory. Um, I don't feel out of place or anything like that. So, it's been great. It's been great. It's been a great opportunity to be around these young women and to just listen to them and hear them telling their stories. I haven't had the opportunity to read every story yet,
Mm,
but the ones that I've read are really really good. Just there's so much wisdom, right? There's so
mm-hmm.
much wisdom in our group. There's so much knowledge and compassion. So I am honored to be a part of this group with these outstanding ladies, these outstanding authors, outstanding visionaries. So
Hmm.
it has been a great honor.
I love that. Not only are we anticipating the book and you guys' story, you guys are anticipating each other's story. I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Sonia, you coordinated this podcast. So, I want to kick it over to you. How are you, Sonia? Miss T.
Here trying to talk and girl, you muted. Hey,
It's
everybody.
okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. And yes, so when you put out that you were starting your podcast, and you and I had already talked about a few things, I was like, OMG, wait, this will be a perfect opportunity. It's coming back in September. September is when the book comes out, so I just thought it was perfect timing. And of course, she says we don't have to get permission to do things, but I respect her so much
Hmm.
that I check in. before I
Yeah.
do anything. And so I checked in and she was like, sure, put it in the group. And I put it in the group and everybody showed up. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about us. We show up
Mm.
and we love on one another, we support one another. We're one big family, and I'm just grateful to be a part of this. And so, being able to coordinate this with you and let your fans, your people see what we have and what we have to offer for those that need to hit the reset button is just awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys, I've got it showing here right now, y'all. I get your copy right now of the reset journey from surviving to thriving. You've got the link right here, the reset journey. Order your copy right now, okay? So Sonia, go ahead and tell me. I'm gonna ask you the same question. How did you come to meet Jakithia, and how did you get on this journey with her as well?
So we met some years back at church. She was actually overseeing one of the ministries that I was interested in being a part of, and that's how we connected. And we later, realized that we were connected to some small people that was in both of our world, and we were able to just share conversations. But fast forward, we stayed in contact, and she came out with her new book, The Reset. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. And then I got an invite to her book signing, and so I was like, this
Mm.
is awesome, I'm gonna go. And I went, and then she started doing a book club. So I'm like, I'm gonna tap into the book club. And soon thereafter, she started her reset coaching, and I became a client. And
Mm.
so it's just been a phenomenal ride with Jakithia because she is spiritually led, and everything she does is with intent. And she helps me to recognize that I wasn't being intentional about
Mm.
myself, let alone my assignment. And so, as she knows, I love her dearly.
I love that. That's the power of not only being just a good person, but having good people around you that are able to just say, "Hey, Sabrina," or "Hey, Sonia, I noticed you did this. Maybe try doing this differently, or I know this is about yourself. You know, don't speak so negatively about yourself. Say this, speak positively to yourself." I have a friend Nadia, which you guys will meet her. You'll meet her, especially Sonia, at the event. We're like good cop, bad cop. Like I'm the good cop, she's the bad cop. I need her. Like I need her to be bad cop for me, because I'm good cop, but I need her in my corner to, hey, Sabrina, you were just a little too nice with that. You need to try this, do that. Be a little more affirmative, be a little more assertive. So I think that's great that we can have people in our corner that are willing to pull us to the side and just say, hey, Sabrina, try this a little differently. And then we got to be people that can understand how to, take constructive criticism and understand that it's not to bring you down. It's actually to make you better. I love constructive criticism. I love feedback. I value feedback, and I tell entrepreneurs all the time, be open to feedback because it's what's going to take you to the next level. So kudos to you for allowing her to speak life into you, and kudos for receiving that. So what contributions can people expect when they order their copy, because they're going to order this? What contribution can they expect to read from you, Sonia?
Oh, goodness. They're going to get a little bit of everything. They're going to see that on the other side of this thing, it wasn't always what they see now. you
Hmm.
know I went through some stuff. I journeyed, and it was a journey to becoming. And so they're gonna see that even in my being an LPC now, that I had my vulnerable states, that
Hmm.
life was lifing for me, and there were times when I didn't know which way to go. I was battling some of the same things that a lot of individuals out here battle on a daily basis, but I was able to overcome those things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so sometimes being vulnerable for some people it could be hard. It really can be. So I love when people find avenues and find ways to let it out, whether it's writing, journaling, writing a book, putting it into music, poetry, standing on the top of a bridge and screaming, whatever it
Mhm.
is, just to release that energy. So I'm happy for you all. I'm not an author yet, but congratulations to all of you. How many of you are first time authors? Like raise like is this like your first time authoring? Oh wow, I love that. Okay, let's kick it right over here to you, Tamika. I
So
love
it
that.
was.
So
Can I say something? It was 10 of us. I'm the
yes.
me and one other person were the only ones that already produced the book. So
Mm,
everybody else, it was 8 people who had never been an author. So that was
yeah.
exciting for me because
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely,
that was
absolutely. I'm excited for you all. Seriously, Sonia knows. We're in a group chat now. I'm trying to get an anthology together now. But guess what? I'm still trying to put it together. It's still in the works. So just this inspires me as well. Talking to you all. I'm gonna kick it right over here to Tamika, Miss Mayweather. I love that
Um,
last name.
everybody does. It's catchy. It's catchy.
Very, very catchy. How are you tonight, Tamika?
I'm doing well tonight. Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell me a little bit about yourself and let's talk about your contribution to the reset journey.
All right. I'm just an inspiring young lady. I am in the process of a reset. So this opportunity with Jakithia and the other authors is like a prophetic move for me.
Mm,
I was in a season of resetting, and I didn't know I was. Like, there was no term for what I was going through. And so I felt like I've been like just catapulted into something.
yeah.
But it's like this is my life. Like, I'm really literally resetting. So
Yeah.
so I have just been became confirmed as a reverend in my church. I just obtained my master's degree. This opportunity came right in the middle of what God was already doing in my life. So um so
Yeah. So tell me, how does it feel like being a first time author? Is this something that you envision? Is this something that lucked upon? Or how did this come about for you?
um I am a writer. There's always been a writer in me.
Mm,
Ever since I was a little girl, I would write letters to classmates. Um, I thought I just love to write. I love to mail. I love stationery. I love paper, pens. I started writing a book, but I got stuck and so far from it for a long time. So when this opportunity imposed upon me, Jakithia asked me along with the others, um, I knew there was already a story within me. I
yeah.
don't know how I stumbled up on this opportunity, but I'm grateful.
Aren't we
well, we
grateful
actually
for those
we
opportunities?
met at a conference. Her and I met
Yeah.
at a
Uh-huh.
conference in March in Florida, and so that's how we connected.
Yeah, that's how we
Yeah.
met.
That's
But
how we met. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. Okay, so Tiffany, how are you? Oops, sorry, I keep bumping this. How are you, Tiffany?
I'm well, Sabrina. Thank you for having us. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for being here. So let's talk. Let's talk. Reset journey. How did this come about for you? And what is it like for you too, being a first-time author? I love hearing this.
So first of all, Jakithia and I actually go back from high school. We're also college classmates as well. And I've been following her since she wrote her first book. And everybody, always says, "Hey, I want to write a book." We always have a story, but never had the courage to do it. And so, like she said, she posted it on Facebook. I saw it, I liked it, hey, kept scrolling. And then she personally reached out to me, and I was kind of hesitant. And I was like, wait, I actually have to sit here and share with people what I'm going through. And so I took a step back and I said, well, let me pray about it. And then I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity. And so writing this first book, it was a way for me to release. It was a moment of self-discovery. And it actually helped me to process through my reset.
Yeah, I love that. I love that self-discovery. I recently had to reset my life too. And that self-discovery, wow, that is amazing. Amazing that you said that because once you find self, you really realize there's so many things, opportunities that you might have missed, that things that you've always wanted to do. It's like now this reset is showing me I better go do these things. I better try these things. I've always wanted to be an author. Let me go write this book. Or if I'm afraid to do it alone, let me get on an anthology. Let me bring some friends along. Because Jakethia, the opportunity that you gave everyone here as a first time author, that in itself is powerful. And I love that. I
Yeah.
just love when
And it,
opportunities are given and when opportunities are created.
yeah. And it was just amazing. Like she said, when we had our very first Zoom call together, you would
Mhm.
honestly have thought that we had been friends forever. And we always told her this was divinely put together. God made no
Yeah.
mistakes. It was meant to be pulled off Facebook. Everybody here was hand selected, and this is truly a family.
Yeah. Yeah. So who's from Louisiana? You said some people are from California or who's all everybody's from Louisiana?
I made a mistake. I don't know why I said California. I don't
Oh,
know why.
That's okay. I'm actually from California. I just am here in Dallas, so it was
oh, you're in
given to me.
Dallas? You're in Dallas?
Yes, yes, I'm here in Dallas.
So
Oh, we
that
need
means
to
she needs
connect.
to
I didn't
show up.
Right, right, exactly.
yes.
I'm very excited to hear that you're in Dallas. I didn't know that. Um,
So how did you
that's
and Jakethia connect?
oh well. So Jakithia and Tiffany and I all went to the same wonderful, wonderful historically black university,
Hey,
the Grambling State University.
love
Um,
it.
and I think I came out maybe right before them, like right before
Mhm.
them, but not right before they were there. Right before I'm not too old, but I'm old enough. So Jakithia and I are friends on Facebook because as Gremlin does, and then most HBCUs, once you become family, you're family for a lifetime. So we were friends on Facebook, and it's such a funny story every time people ask me, "Well, how did you become a part of this?" And I laugh because I'm like, real story. I was in the dentist office one morning, and I got this message, and it was like, "Hey, kind of like, hey, don't think I'm strange, but um, I would like to know if you're interested in becoming a part of this anthology." And I I know most of us are saying we were going through a reset or we're in a reset. I think I've been resetting my whole life, but at that particular moment, I was on a complete reset. Like I
Mm.
had been so broken and so down, which I have not even expressed to my family here. I was broken when Jakithia reached out to me, trying to figure out how to reset this time. And I've been writing for a very long time, and I have books that are unpublished. And I kept telling God, like, I just need to figure out how to talk because I don't talk about myself ever. I will help other people and talk to other people about their stories. And for about the last year, random people have been coming up to me saying things like, if you just get out of your own way, this will happen. You have a story to tell and somebody needs to hear it. But when I was growing up, I was always one of those people who said things like, everybody has a story, and everybody does.
Yeah.
But me saying everybody has a story was more like, I'm not special because everybody goes through something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize until last year that God keeps trying to bring it out of me for a reason. And when
Mhm.
Jakeithia reached out, it was like, oh, okay. And then she was like giving me the information, and she was like, here, you can go and look at this if you want to and get back with me.
Yeah.
And I was in the dentist's office and I was kind of like, okay. And then I said, wait, what did she say? Like, oh, she wants me to be a writer. So I was thinking, like, it's social media. We all have something, some hustle, some
Yeah.
business. You know what I'm saying? That we're trying to get more people to frequent. So I was like, oh, okay. She has a book that she wants me to read. So it didn't actually set in until like after my visit. And I was like, wait a minute. And I went and looked at her page and I was like, I know this girl's face. And I said, did she ask me to be a part of this? So then we had a long conversation about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, she really is asking me to be a part of it. And her words to me is what made me do it. Instead of saying, no, I'm going to write my own book, it was like, she said,
Mm.
I got a message, and she said, and it's supposed to be you. And I was like, what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, so God had been talking to her, about everybody that she picked, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody that she picked, she was given the information to do that with. And when she told me, well, no, it's supposed to be you. And she said, and I made
Yeah.
sure. And she said it, Nikithia has this presence, right? She's a small person, but she has this presence about her. And it's really big and it's really felt
Mm.
even when she's not talking. So she said to me, like, kind of like in a matter of fact way, like, so before you ask me if I'm sure, I already know it's supposed to be you. So don't ask me if I'm sure. You know what I'm saying?
Before you ask me, this is for you. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah, so she said, I'm just going to give you this information and I'm going to give you some time to think about it. However,
Yeah.
we're starting on this date and this time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I mean, it was an honor. Like everybody's saying, it's such an honor to be a part of this because it is a big honor. We have all grown pretty close. We follow each other. We make sure to support each other. We
Mhm.
can send just random little crazy messages and we all accept it. We're not like, okay, I just wrote a book with you, why are you like, I don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that because we really don't know each other's stories. When we got this here, then this is
Wow.
our first time reading this. Like, we have not, in
Mhm.
our talking over these last, I don't even know how many months it's been, it feels like forever. um we haven't exposed our stories at all.
Yeah. I
So this
love
is the
that.
first
I love
time.
that. And I think that that's what makes a story so powerful is sharing how do we come out of it, sharing not necessarily the end results because we're always on this journey, but for that particular the story that I'm telling you right now, this is how I overcame it. This is how I overcome this. These are some steps that you maybe can take. And so when you said everybody has a story, yes, that's true, but how did you come out of your story? How does your ending differentiate from Tamika's ending? How does it differentiate from Michael's ending?
Right.
So
So
I think that's what makes the story powerful.
that turned into our very favorite saying from the book, actually. Well, from I think it was Tamika's. Nothing beats a story. So, or
Mhm.
Tiffany's. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm sorry, y'all, because I've read so many quotes in the last week from this book. Yeah, I'm so
The
excited. Like, there's
Keithia
so
would
many
know.
quotes that we're quoting now that it's nothing beats a story. So before it was like, well, everybody has a story, but now it's like I get it because nothing beats a story, and she was
Yeah.
right. She was right.
Yeah.
That was Demetria's tagline.
Oh, I knew it was one of us. I'm sorry. That was our
She uses it now.
first quote. We have so many now that I have no idea who's saying what. I just know they're very powerful quotes that we are embracing the world with. So
Well, you know what? Hold that thought, Demetra. I'm going to come right back to you. Going to take a quick commercial break. Think about a quote because I want you to share it when we come back. And then, hey, let's maybe dissect it and talk more about it. We're going to talk about take a quick commercial break and then we'll be right back. All right?
Oftentimes, people with mental illnesses are incarcerated. They're tossed in jail instead of taken to facilities where they can be treated and stabilized. We don't have outpatient plans for people that are brought in on an emergency basis like we should. We don't have the support system, and especially for those that are incarcerated. Um, we may provide them bare minimum medication while they're incarcerated, but once they get out, what's in place for them? Grew up in a regular two-parent household. But about age 8 or 9, I noticed that things that would not bother other people really had an effect on me. I was overly emotional. About the time my youngest son was born, I was unable to work, and that affected my self-esteem. And I began to self-medicate, and I realized all I was doing was just dulling the pain. At 25 years old, my symptoms really got to the point where it was dangerous to myself, and officially diagnosed as bipolar 1, dissociative identity disorder, and PTSD. I found that you really have to add the talk therapy in to actually process those issues. It's really a twofold process, really multiple folds involved, because with that comes the self-reflection. With that comes the institution of new routines and self-discipline. And also the most difficult part, and the part in all this that we can't control, is the relationships that we have with those around us. Mental illness needs to be treated more like a physical illness. I came up with the idea for Metta a couple years ago. God told me to help those with mental illness. Metta is a Buddhist word that means to include all. I wanted something to where I could help speak for those with mental illness that can't speak for themselves. So right now we focus on advocacy, programs, support groups, and recidivism. And what makes us unique, what makes us different, is that we focus not exclusively, but we go to the Black community. And I feel as though I'm able to connect with people that we help, and all people, because I'm like them. They're like me. We are the same. We've walked the same path. And I feel like that with all people. We've all had our tragedy.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Hidden Images Radio Network, and we're here on the Hidden Images podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining me. We are here with the authors of the anticipated anthology book, and I say anticipated because I've been seeing y'all promoting it and advertising, and I know people are waiting and wanting to read this book again. From the reset journey, from surviving to thriving. And if y'all are just not tuning in, y'all gonna have to hit the rewind button on this and reset the clock because y'all missed a great show. But we're still here. We've got Demetra. How are you, Miss Glover?
I'm well. How are you? Thank you for having us.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna bring you in on here. I know right before we left, we were talking about quotes, and I wanted you to think of a quote and give us a quote. Go give us a quote from the book.
The first thing that comes to my mind is Jakethia. This was her quote, I believe. 10 authors, one message. We're all speaking on our journeys, our it's our testimonies from our tests that we actually went through, and we were able to write and journey and write on it. But also, everyone's going through a reset, so it's our message as a whole.
So 10 authors, one message. I love that. I love that. So I'm going to take that quote right now. I have a segment that I do on the podcast. It's called Hidden Images or Hidden Images in Quotes. And so let's just take that particular quote, and we'll talk with a few of you here just to dive more into it. What are your thoughts on it? How do you feel about it, Tamika? I'll start with you.
How do I feel
10
about the quote?
authors. 10 authors, one message. I love that.
Um, to me, that says we're different people, but we all have the same message, such as, the power and the reset for us. We're talking about our book. We come from different paths in life, different walks of life. Like I come straight from the church. Somebody else may not have been in church all of their lives. However, I have an experience that's similar to Helena. There's something I can relate to when it comes to each of my colleagues. As I'm reading your story, you're hitting me with things. It may be a different scenario, such as Michael. I read your story. Um, you may have dealt with anxiety. That may not have been my diagnosis, but I've been anxious. You understand?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we're just 10 different people, but we can relate to something that we have went through in our lives.
Yeah. How about you, Tiffany? What are your thoughts on that quote? How does that make you feel?
Kind of to piggyback on what she said when reading Michael's story about dealing with anxiety, that just wasn't something that I decided to share as my part of the story, but I could
Mhm.
relate to him because that's something that I've dealt with. And so when you say, 10 stories, one message, what maybe, what that may look like for somebody doesn't look like for somebody else, because in that moment when I started writing, this is what I was going through. And so when somebody reads this book, they will find a little bit of themselves from each author. So this book is just going to bring a variety of things to everyone. But at the end of the day, it is, how did we make it through? How did
Yeah.
we pull through? And this is where we are now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I actually want to piggyback off something you just said, Tiffany. The word relatable. That just means so much to me. I really make decisions off of who I'm going to work with, making major purchases, things like that, based off who can relate to me. I shared a post because I was trying to sell my house. And so many people reached out to me, so many realtors, so many people. But there was one young lady that I reached out to her because her approach was so relatable to me that made me want to do business with her. And she was the one who I chose to follow up with and do business with. And so just being yourself and being relatable and being vulnerable and understanding that I'm not the only person who has a story who's been through something, that resonates with me as well. And so, Michael, I gonna ask you that quote: 10 authors, one message. How does that resonate with you?
So the the overarching message is reset.
Hmm.
So and we've already alluded to that looks different for everybody, right? So the message is reset, but I think with having 10 authors, there's something for everybody, right?
Yeah,
So Jakethia was on my podcast a while back, and one of the things she said was, my reset is not necessarily going to look like your reset, but we all have a reset. So I
hmm,
think that, I think that kind of helps hammer home that 10 authors, but
Yeah.
there's one message, and that
Yeah.
message is reset. They won't
Absolutely.
all look the same, but we're all going to experience a reset.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So, Demetra, let's kick it back to you. Tell me something about yourself, or tell us all something that you shared in the book that maybe your peers here don't know, the other authors maybe don't know. What can they look forward to? One juicy one.
Um, I'm not really sure if anyone read, but I think I did share just in general conversation because of how the closeness of us in the relationship that we've built, just all the tests, loss that I received during the time of my reset journey because I was going through um, my road to transplant. I had a kidney transplant, so that road looked like all the ups and downs, all the mountains I climbed, all the loss that I had in the midst of all of that from 2008 up until 22 when I finally received my kidney transplant, from losing my mother, my father, my grandmothers, my uncles, aunts, just, you know, in the midst of all of that, but still keeping going, keeping my business flowing, keeping my family
Hmm.
together. And that's where the thriving come into play. So the
Yeah,
from the surviving to thriving, that just totally resonated with me. And I'm
yeah.
not really sure if you remember when it was right after my transplant where she hosted a vision board party for me, but it was done on Zoom. And after the party, she talked about wanting to write another book and not, knowing what she wanted to do, but she knew that she wanted to collectively have other individuals to join her on the next journey of writing another book. I don't know if you remember that, Chiquithia, but we had that conversation. We talk about so much. We had that conversation.
so so I'm hearing from you all, and as an entrepreneur, I have to I'm relating some the reset journey to sales. I don't ask me why. So hear me out though really quick.
I,
So I always ask entrepreneurs this when it comes to sales. And I think if I'm correct, the answer to this will be the same to what I want to ask you. So I always ask entrepreneurs, like, when does the sale end? And so I want to ask you, Jakethia, as a visionary, when does a reset journey end?
So the reset journey never ends
Ah, I
because
love it.
there's
I
somewhere
love
in
it.
there's somewhere in your life, and I was sharing this with someone the other day. There's somewhere in your life where you're
Uh-huh.
always going to be in some type of transition.
Yeah.
And for me, this is how I explained it. I live according to the word of God. And the word of God says that he takes us from faith to faith and from glory to glory. So that two is always somewhere in my life because I have to live by faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I live by faith, there's a reset going on somewhere in my life. There's a journey. There's that two somewhere, faith two, T-O. There's always that two. There's always that transition. But what people fail to realize is that the transition is good. Because what the transition tells us is that that old place ain't good for you no more. You have outgrown it. It is time for you to be, like Reverend Tamika said earlier, catapulted, where you have to go to the next level because otherwise you're going to stay stagnant. You're going to stay in a cycle. And so there's always going to be some type of reset journey in your life. There's always going to be some time where you're going to have to, and reset means reevaluate everything
Mhm.
so everything thrives. There's always going to be the times where you're going to have to shift your priorities, where you're going to have to move and do whatever you need to do. So the reset, the R is reevaluate, the E is everything. And I teach about in my first book about prioritizing, that you have to prioritize certain things so that you can thrive. Once you're done with that, bam, there's something else to work on, right? It could be a little
Mhm.
bitty tweak or it might be a major tweak, but there's always something that we always have to be growing. We always have to go from faith to faith. So the reset never stops. It doesn't always look the same, even
Yes.
in your own life. But it never stops. And I'm excited
Yeah.
about that because I hate to be bored. I hate to be in Monday. I hate that stuff. I'm a STEM educator as well. So I'm always critically thinking. I'm always the problem solver. So I look for these opportunities like, wait a minute. So I hate to be bored. I hate that stuff. Like I just hate that. Of
Yeah.
course, and we're creatures of habit. And so if we don't if we don't allow ourselves to think about the habits, we can always get stuck in consistency, and being habitual is good, right, in some
Mhm.
areas, but then you got to shift, right, and those other habits you got to create a new habit, quote unquote, right. You got to grow because you're always learning. I'm an educator. I've been an educator over 20 years, but guess what, I'm always learning. I have to learn. I love to learn.
Oh
So
yeah.
it
Oh
never
yeah.
stops. Never stops.
I love it. That's the answer I was looking for. Same thing with sales. When does the sale end? It never ends. So when I kept hearing you talk about that, I say, well, that's a good question to ask because I want people to hear this, to know that whatever journey you're on, it's a continuing journey. We're always evolving, and one of my friends, he's always saying you got to be a student of the game. So when you said I'm an educator, but I'm still always learning, that's just being a student of the game. I love that. That's self-discipline. You all are amazing. I'm happy for you all. This is inspiration for me as well. Soon as we get off here, hey ladies, we got to get this anthology going. So I'm super excited for you all. Go ahead again, Sonia. Plug in the date, location, and the time for you guys' this event that you have coming up. It's a book signing, correct? Are you all gonna be there? Oh, good, good. And what date and time is that again, Sonia?
That is going to be October the 8th from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. in Karen Crow,
October
Louisiana.
8th. Okay. Y'all have a photographer? Oh, y'all do?
Sabrina, you was
When
trying to
y'all,
come to Louisiana?
I'll go ride with Helena.
I just got a new friend, y'all. That is so good because I'm trying to get us a book signing here in Dallas. So that's
Let's
the
set it up.
thank you, Sonia. You done hooked up.
Let's
Look,
set it
look,
up. Y'all
look.
can use my office space if you want to. We have plenty of room here if y'all need to. Y'all more than welcome
Nice.
to host it here at the office. Plenty of conference space. We've got, yeah, plenty of space. So yeah, you're more than welcome to. I'd love to help you guys out with that. So this
That
is
would
Thank
be so
amazing.
great. I would say
you.
that one of the things that Jakithia has said since we started is she said it before we even started writing. This is just the beginning. So
Oh yeah.
every time we come to her with something, right?
Another
And we're
quote.
like, okay, what do you think about us doing this? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's figure it out because this is just the beginning. She always,
Yes.
always, always says that. So
Yeah.
it's really catapulting.
Get y'all's pens ready for part two.
Hey, but it's
uh,
it's not just a signing, it's a celebration.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
we're celebrating, and we thank you for
Yes.
the opportunity to, be able to host something in Dallas because I'm only 3 hours away. So whoever hosts anything in Dallas, I'll be there because I'm just right up the street.
I'm trying to get it together. So I'm going to be call Sabrina. Now, when you see my message in about 2 minutes, you better
Please
look
reach
at
out. We gonna connect. We got this. I did not
Absolutely.
know. Sonia, you didn't tell me.
Well, I knew this was coming and things were going to be shared. So,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
genuine connection, right?
I love
And then
it.
and
I
then
love
Michael
it.
and Tiffany are right there in Houston.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not far at all.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. So, okay, next time I'm in Houston, I definitely have to connect with you all. Yeah. I love this. Y'all
Me
are
too.
amazing. Thank y'all so much for you guys' time. Y'all, again, y'all see it's been scrolling down here at the bottom, the reset journey from surviving to thriving. Y'all go ahead and get your copy right now. Any final thoughts from you, Jakethia?
Again, thank you for allowing us to be here. I'm always excited to be able to share. And before, beyond anything, the reason why I did this anthology is it is for the overarching word, as Michael said, but more so for impact. Because so many people, like Demetrius said, nothing beats a story. You can't deny a living story. You can't deny a living testament of the reset. You can't say, you ain't did nothing, right? But it's also
Right.
not just impact, it's encouraging for others who may be not necessarily that same story, but like Tiffany said, there's something that you can find in everybody's story that you can relate to, whether it's now or before. And so what we want to do is we want to impact people with our journey, and let people know that you can come out of that survival mode, right? Come out of that and be your best self. Use that self discovery, as Tiffany said earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
begin to go on that journey, and realizing who you really are, and show up as you are. And my word for this week has been execute. I have had this, only today is a Wednesday, but if I tell you, since Friday, I've had so many conversations where I've had to use that word execute. And so a lot of times we're sitting here, we're waiting on something to push us out of the survival mode, when basically we just need to go and do and execute, because we know
Mm-hmm.
what to do. We have all the
That's true.
tools to do what we need to do. We have all the instructions. We have all the directions. We know everything, but something is holding us back. Some either self sabotage, some insecurities, some limiting beliefs. It's always something that's holding us back. And sometimes it's overthinking, right? I'm
Yeah.
really, I struggle with that, because I'm such an analytical thinker. I'm such a critical thinker, to where sometimes I overthink things and not allow things to be fluid. And so the thing about it is that you just have to show up as yourself. You have to be authentic. I cannot be nobody else. I don't want to be nobody else. I just don't. I want to be Jakethia, right?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
I didn't even remember that conversation that me and Demetria had. I didn't even remember that. But hey, that's how you know this is like so God divinely purposed. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to really, for those who are listening, I want you to really, really understand that you can reset, you can transition. There's some things that, even as I wrote this book, even as I've came out of writing the book, I'm like, wait a minute, this little area right here, hold up, we need to do something about this, right? So don't make it seem like I've made it, because I haven't. Because
Mm.
I'm thriving in some areas, but there are some areas I'm looking at. Wait a minute, I need to do something about
Ooh.
it. And it's not even, it's nobody else's fault, quote unquote, but my own. I just have to execute. I just have to go and do it. I just have to stop being scared. I have to stop being afraid. And I just have to go and do it. And so that's the word for the reset. You have to execute. You have to go and do it.
Yeah.
Even if you can't do that thing all at one time, there's some kind of step that you can take to get there, right? If you want to have an anthology, if you want to have an event, I love the fact that you said, when I get off of here, I'm going to tell them. So you're making steps toward getting and executing what you know that you're supposed to do. And so it's even if it's one thing a day or two things a day, like you have to be consistent, because you
Oh yeah.
cannot
Mm-hmm.
if you're not consistent. And when you have to be disciplined in order to be consistent. And if you're not disciplined, whew, I don't even know how you're gonna do it. But and there's sometimes in our lives when we're
Whew.
not as disciplined as we need to, and so we have to pull other people that's gonna push us and help us to get there. And so that's my final thoughts with
Yeah.
that. Execute, just do it. Be like Nike, just do it. And I don't know if I'm getting in trouble
Yeah.
with Nike for that, but
Just do it.
just do it. Just do it.
Nike.
As long as you gave them a plug, I think it's okay.
Right?
Right, right, yeah. Go get your Nikes today. All right, there you go.
You're expecting that three
Oh,
thousand
that's
dollar check
funny.
for that.
Right, yes. Pay us, pay us. Nike went up after
They gonna call you.
listening
You're gonna have a
to
new
Hidden
sponsor
Images
tomorrow,
podcast.
girl.
I wish. Come on, Nike. I'll take it. I'll plug them in every episode. I'm gonna cut to a Nike commercial break real quick. So I'm hearing everything. I love it. I want to leave y'all with three things I'm thinking of in my head. I don't know. I just like to tell people certain things. It's just a bug in y'all head. God may be telling me to tell y'all this. So I'm just gonna tell y'all these three things. I'm hearing in my head: audiobook, book tour, and multi-language. Take that,
We
keep it in your head. I don't know.
wait. I have to stop
Wait,
you.
did I
I have
did
to
I
stop
hit
you.
something?
I have to stop you. First of all,
Three, all
we
three, right?
we have talked about everything that you just mentioned.
All three, literally.
All three of them.
What?
We already spoke about it before the book was edited, printed, and sent to us. We had that conversation. So this
Yeah.
is confirmation
God. That's
that
confirmation there. Y'all get that.
more is coming.
Y'all, I love it. I love it. I'm biased to anything multi-language. Sonya knows hablo conozco suficiente español. Like I speak enough Spanish. Like so I always tell people learn another language, translate your books to another language, translate your website to another language. That multi-language that's relatable. See, like come on now. This all goes together. I love y'all. Y'all are on it. Y'all are amazing. Yes. Thank y'all so much for your time. Like this is
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank
Again,
you.
thank you so much,
Thank you for
Sonia,
having
for
us.
coordinating all this. Thank
Thank
y'all.
you,
Really
Sonia.
appreciate it. Congratulations to you all. Everything that you guys have coming up. Again, you guys can check myself out with Sonia here in Dallas, Texas on November the 5th. She will be one of the guest speakers here at the Women with Purpose Tour Dallas. Again, that is November the 5th here in Dallas, Texas, right here in the heart of downtown Dallas, 1910 Pacific Avenue. Y'all head on over to the website right now and get your tickets, womenwithpurposetour.com. Right after that, y'all need to head over to the resetjourney.com and order your book today. Okay. Again, it is the resetjourney.com/Sonia Antoine. Y'all go ahead and get that book and order it today. Y'all, again, thank y'all so much. Again, this has been a great episode of Hidden Images podcast powered by the all new Hidden Images Radio Network. Y'all stay tuned for more Hidden Images podcast with host Sabrina Ford. Y'all have a good day. Que tengan buen noche ustedes.
Thank you.